everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to do a fairly quick kind of get ready with me for the day. Get ready with me and like tutorials have been something I've been wanting to do pretty much ever since I started my channel, but I really need to update my lighting and even my camera to really get like the quality that I want. So for now they're just going to be kind of here and there until I can at least upgrade my lighting quality, which hopefully should happen in the next, I don't know, man, a couple months or something like that. I'm hoping sooner. I just like really need to look into what exactly I should be looking for lighting wise, and then of course I'd like to get a new camera, but the one I'm looking at is really pricey. So anyways, we'll see. So today I'm not doing a whole lot. I just have to go to work this evening, so I'm just gonna get ready for work and we'll kind of go from there. So the first thing I'm going to do is prime my face. I'm going to use this GRWM primer. This is the Lower Pure Radiance Concentrate with Pure Gold Makeup Base. I've used a decent amount of it, enough to kind of gauge my opinion on it. I do like it. My favorite part about it is that once you kind of get it rubbed in, it gives you this like really nice like tacky kind of base that really foundation really adheres to well. It's obviously really pretty looking itself, but do I think it's worth the money? I can't say I would repurchase this again at that cost. It's really pricey, and I remember I tried this after Tati had tried it and was kind of raving and was swearing by it. And I do like it, but I definitely don't think it's worth that hefty price tag. But it is a good primer all in all. So I just rub it in pretty good, and then I have this nice kind of sticky base that I really like. And then I'm going to use, for my foundation today, I'm going to use the It Cosmetics CC Cream. This is the Color Correcting Full Coverage Cream. This has SPF 50 in it, which is great for today because it's like high 20s where I live, which is like basically the first kind of like hot weather beachy day we've had yet this year. And I have this in the shade Tan. So I've used this a couple times so far, and that's about how much I take. Not too much, because for a CC cream, it has amazing coverage. And then I usually just do, actually might have taken too much. Oh my god, we'll see. I usually just kind of do some dots around my face. I always use my beauty blender when I'm putting foundation or whatever on. It just makes it so easy to get like a really flawless base. You never have to worry about streaking or anything like that. And I'll try, when I'm just dotting the foundation on my face initially, I'll try to put like larger amounts kind of in the inner parts of my cheeks there, because that's where I need the most coverage. I actually don't really have any acne or anything going on right now. I haven't for like probably a couple months now. I think I've really gotten my skincare routine down pat, and I'm using like products that are just working really well for my skin, so I really haven't had any issues with it. So the only thing I find that I really need to cover up is I have some kind of hyperpigmentation and scarring from previous breakouts. So that's what I'm pretty much covering there. And honestly, damn, I wasted some. I thought I was gonna need more, but I kind of forgot how full coverage this was. I may do maybe a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit more on my cheeks, but otherwise I don't need too much. And I'll always kind of drag it down my neck a little bit, and it just kind of helps, even if you've got a foundation that is really, really close to your neck. In certain sunlight or in certain lights, it'll look a little bit different. So if you drag the foundation down your neck a little bit, it helps to kind of make a gradient, so it's not like a stark difference. It just helps it to kind of blend better, basically. And then I'm going to use my Shape Tape Concealer by Tarte. I use this in light medium. It's just all I really have been wanting to use lately. And I just kind of do a couple swipes in like an upside down triangle motion, a little bit on my chin and up on my forehead there. I love doing these stripes down my nose because not only does putting your concealer in other parts than just under your under eyes help to balance the kind of like highlights and contour that you're creating with your concealer, but it also helps to kind of contour your nose a little bit and make it nice and straight looking and a little bit slimmer. Because I do like to contour my nose, but it's definitely not something I typically do day to day. It's just like another step that I'll do just once in a while, or like if I really want to do like a super kind of intense flawless look, something like that. And then I just pat this in. I highly recommend trying this out if you can. If you're in Canada like me and you guys don't have Ulta, Ulta has just recently started shipping to Canada, which is so cool because I couldn't believe for the longest time that they didn't. But that's cool because now there's a bunch of brands that they don't sell at Sephora that they do sell at Ulta that I've always wanted to try, but it's hard when we don't have it here. Like Lorac and It Cosmetics and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to set my under eye concealer with the yellow shade here from the Marc Jacobs. This is the Light Filter and Contour Powder. I have this one in Mirage. And then I just grab some on, this is a Morphe 5438 brush. It's just like a nice tapered brush. It fits like perfectly in your under eye area. This is pretty much the only thing I use really. So I also wanted to do a bit of like an anti-haul and then talk about some products that I do think that I want to buy. If you don't know what an anti-haul is, it's basically this new trend going around when you talk about products that are like launching or super hyped that are coming out that you plan on not buying for whatever reason. And I definitely do have some things on my list. So that's that. And then I'm going to go in with my all over face powder. I've been finishing up my Bare Minerals matte, what is this called? Matte Foundation Broad Spectrum SPF 15. I wear this in medium beige, but it's like almost gone. So I'm just gonna like, I don't even know if there's enough to use today. I have to put this down and really kind of like hammer it. So I literally just ran out of that Bare Minerals powder. I knew that was coming. But I thought I'd have enough to finish today, but I do not. So that is all done, which is sad because I really like that. But it was getting kind of old. I'd had it for a while and kind of forgot about it. So I'm glad I did get to use the rest of it. And next I'm just going to use my Cover FX matte setting powder. And this is another just really great matte setting powder. I should have put my hair up. It's kind of driving me nuts. So anyways, on the list of things that I'd like to get is I still obviously really want to get the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. It just looks amazing. I love her eyeshadow formula. I love the colors that you get. I am just like, my go-to colors are really warm colors, so I love like reds and oranges and browns and stuff like that. That's what looks best on my skin tone, so that's what I always go towards. So I know if I got that palette, I would get some major use out of it. And the shades are just beautiful, like, oh, I really want it, but it's sold out on Beautylish, it's sold out on Sephora. I'm on the email list for when it does come back in stock, and I know at least on Beautylish that it's going to be restocked, and I imagine it will on Sephora too, I just don't know when. And then another palette, or I guess brand, like I've never tried anything from Juvia's Place, which, you can Google them if you if you haven't heard of them, but most people have heard of them by now. A lot of the YouTubers are using their palettes and stuff. They apparently have really good eyeshadow palettes. Their kind of claim to fame is that they're really affordable, but they've got like incredibly amazing pigment, and they've got some really beautiful palettes with some really bright colors, and I don't have a lot of palettes that have really bright colors in them. I actually meant to get the Urban Decay Electric palette back when it was sold on Sephora, but they discontinued it from Sephora, and I think they're probably discontinuing it from like the Urban Decay, like they're just discontinuing it from everywhere, because I tried to go on Urban Decay and they do have it on the Urban Decay site, and I swear it was on sale, so I'm thinking that they're going to discontinue it. And when I first kind of saw it, I was like, you know, when it first came out, I really wasn't too comfortable using shades like that. Like I was like, it's a beautiful palette, but like, am I really gonna use shades like that? And then when it came like Halloween time and I was doing looks and stuff like that, I really friggin' wished I had had it. And then even now where I'm more comfortable working with color and stuff like that, I do wish that I had that palette. I'm just using that brown contour powder from the Marc Jacobs palette. You can tell that I'm like not used to talking and doing makeup at the same time because I sound crazy. I just need to like heavily contour my jawline. And then I'll usually just do a little bit right at my hairline there. Although I'll be going over that with bronzer, but I still like to just make it a little bit darker there. It helps to just kind of contour the face a little bit more. And then for bronzer, I'm going to go in with my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer in medium deep. I am almost totally done with this. I've got like major pan there, so I'm just kind of using the rest of it up. I do like this bronzer. It obviously smells amazing. But I also like a few others. Like I really like the Hourglass one. I really like that new Marc Jacobs one that I bought, the Tantric shade. It's so pretty. So yeah, I'd like to get my hands on the Sunset palette. I'd like to order a couple of the Juvia's Place palettes. They're really cheap. They're like anywhere between $25 and I think like maybe $40 for a palette. That is in US pricing, but you get I think probably 16 to 20, 25 shades in a palette, so it's a good array. And this is something I'd never seen before. I was looking on their site earlier. You can buy some of the palettes in 2 sizes. So like there's a mini version, it's all the same shades, but it's just like smaller amounts. And I was thinking, I was like, I'd probably get the mini versions because like, you know what I mean? Like how often do you hit pan or use up an entire eyeshadow? You know what I mean? Unless it's like a transition shade or something you're using like every single day. So that makes it a little bit more affordable. So I'd like to try a couple of those palettes as well because they just look so amazing. I'm thinking they're probably like Morphe eyeshadows, which are okay in my opinion. I only have one palette. I have the 350 palette, and I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. I like it. My first initial impression when I was using it was I didn't like it. I didn't like it the first couple times I used it. I stopped using it, and then I was like, okay, give it another try, and then I did start liking it and kind of appreciating the shadows for what they are, and for the price, but obviously Juvia's Place has some way brighter colors that I'd like to try out. So for blush, I'm just going to use I might use 2 blushes. We'll see. I do want to use this kind of pinky shade from the Tom Ford Sheer Highlighting Duo. This is Reflex Gilt, because it's so pretty and shimmery, but let me see. I'm not sure if I want to layer something else with it, because I think I'm going to do a fairly warm look, because I'm going to be using the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. I don't even know if I said that properly. Yeah, I think I'm going to layer it up. I'm going to use one of my kind of orangey shades. Either Peaches or Modern Mandarin are like my favorite. Kind of warm, toned, peachy, not peachy I guess, orangey shades. And so what was another thing that I wanted to talk about? Oh, the Urban Decay, the new Naked palette that is going to be coming out. They just announced, I guess, probably 2 days ago, that they're putting out another Naked palette. It's going to be called the Naked Heat palette. Very, very warm tone. Looks really up my alley. And it's funny because I really kind of thought that the Naked brand was a little bit dead to me, and it was getting a little bit overdone. Like the smoky palette didn't interest me. I have the Naked 3 palette, which the tones looked really good, but I was really disappointed in the quality of some of the shadows. Oh, I forgot my eyeshadow brush. Okay, my eyeshadow brush and my eyebrow brush. This is going to be really hard to do because My mirror is a lot further away than I'm used to. I may actually have to hold up a mirror to get these done. These babies done. It's been about a year since I had my eyebrows microbladed, and I was thinking of going in and getting them touched up in the next little while. Let's see, hopefully you can see a little bit of this. Not that it's like, I am by means no eyebrow wizard. And I'm really back on the dip brow for now. I go back and forth between the brow wiz, the powder, and the dip brow. I go like back and forth and back and forth, and then like, I don't know, I'll run out of one or get bored of one, go back to the other and be like, oh my god, how was I using anything different? Yeah. I also saw that Too Faced is coming out with this new, I think it's going to be limited edition glitter bomb palette. So it looks like an eyeshadow palette with, I think it has 8 glitter shadows, 2 kind of base shadows that I think there's like a white and a black, and like when you layer the glitter on top of them or whatever, it'll either, I don't know, just change the shade or whatever. And I initially, oh, I really fucked that one up. I initially was like, saw some swatches and I was like, oh, not for me. I don't find that Too Faced does shimmer eyeshadows very well. When I think of Too Faced, I prefer their like matte shadows. And when I saw the swatches, I was really kind of like not impressed. Like they looked like very glittery, but that like the color associated with them wasn't very good. Alright, these will do for today. Yeah, so I didn't think that the color, that they just didn't look very good to me, which was too bad. To me, I don't know why I get this vibe, but to me, I was like, I feel like they're going to be really gritty feeling, and they're going to be very chunky glitter, and I'm going to get a lot of like glitter fallout and then a little bit of that color pigment staying on my lid, and it doesn't really interest me. But then I saw some more swatches and they looked really good, so I think it's going to be the kind of palette that I really need to see in person and swatch before I decide whether to go for it or not. And speaking of like shimmer shadows, Kat Von D is putting out a shimmery version of the Shade and Light Eye palette, which looks really cool. It's basically all the same colors, but in a non-matte form. They look really nice. When I was trying to think about it, I was like, do I really need another palette with a bunch of like shimmery neutral colors? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the palette is going to be really nice, and if the shadows are like exceptional, I might get it. But I feel like I'm to the point now where I have a lot of eyeshadows that would be dupes for that, and I just don't need another neutral shimmery eyeshadow palette. So while I think it's really cool and it'll probably sell really well, I don't know if I'm going to go for it myself. It'll be another one that I really want to swatch in person and see what the shadows are like. So Tarte apparently has also just put out a new stick foundation. I haven't heard a lot about it. I don't know if the actual foundation is out yet, or it's just at that stage where like they sent out PR to everybody and now they're all talking about it and stuff like that. But that's another thing that just really doesn't overly interest me. So I'm just using the Modern Renaissance palette. I'm just going to go into burnt orange there. You can see I've hit pan on a couple of the shadows in here. I mean, I have to use this because my mirror is too far away. That's how much I use this palette. I have to say, this is definitely like in my top 3 palettes, I think. It just is like unique, and the shade range is amazing. You can do so many different looks with this palette. The formula of the shadows is great, and then on top of it, the layout is just so good. Like you get 3 or 4 solid transition shades. You get a really good like brow bone highlight. You've got a dark brown up in the corner, and then you've got some fun kind of pinky, orangey, red shades that can really just kind of make your look really like a little bit different from like the typical neutral brown look. I just love this palette, but I'm actually trying to stop using the transition shades in this palette as much because I don't want to run out of them, because this is the perfect all-in-one palette. Like I can travel for a few days and just bring this palette, but if I run out of those transition shades, then I'm going to have to start bringing other palettes, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to. So I'm just going in with a fluffy brush here and putting that burnt orange shadow just all in my crease. And then I think I'm just going to keep it really, really orange, not orange, but like very, very warm. Oh shit, I have my $80 primer on the floor. And then where's my brush that I use to do, and then I'm just going to use tempera up here to put on my brow bone. I don't know where to look when I'm like doing this. So yeah, those are some of the new products coming out that I've heard about. I will say you'll never see me purchasing any Kylie Cosmetics stuff. Personally, I just don't want to support the girl. And it's not that I hate her, I think she's awful or anything like that. I just don't want to support it. I understand that like some celebrities put out whatever kind of line that they want and it's really successful and they do have interest in that and stuff like that, but like to be successful in making like a makeup line purely because you're like you're rich and famous and to be successful, I just don't appreciate it as much. Like she just drives me crazy too. Like I understand that there are definitely downsides to being famous and growing up in the spotlight like she did, but she's just constantly friggin' whining about it. Yet she's the most like social media how am I trying to say this? I just don't want to come off as being like a total bitch, but like she's just constantly on social media. I'm like, if you hate all that's like aspect of the fame, then why are you on social media all the time and stuff like that? And why are you putting yourself out there constantly? Like, you know, you gotta like pick a lane to some degree. I'm gonna use Real Gar next, which is just that nice orange shade, and I'm just going to also put that in my crease, bring it down a little bit on like the outer third of my eye there, but I'm not going to bring it up as high as I did my transition shade. I'm going to try and keep it a little bit lower, and it'll just help kind of create some depth to your eye. Yeah, so that's my feelings on Kylie Cosmetics. I'm not telling you to not try them, or I'm not trying to bash her. I just want to say that you won't ever see me buying any of the products. Just won't happen. There. I am going to take another brush, and I just want to put a little bit of that dark brown, that Cypress Umber up here, just right in the outer V there, just to kind of deepen up the look a little bit and give it a little more depth. And the brush I'm using now is, I think it's just some shitty, oh no, it's a Morphe B43, and it's just really kind of gives me a little bit more precision than some of the other brushes that I use. And then I'll just kind of slowly pack that on. Another thing that came out recently that I was just not super interested in is the Becca and Chris, is her name Chrissy or Christy? I think it's Christy. Teigen collaboration palette. It came with, I think, 2 highlighters, a blush, and a bronzer. And while I love Becca products, I mean, they're my favorite highlighters, and I do love their blushes, the palette just didn't really look like interesting or unique from anything that's already out in their line. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I wasn't blown away. I was like, okay, well, I already have 2 highlighters kind of like that. I got a bronzer kind of like that, and I have a blush that looks like that. Like, the packaging was beautiful though. It was like this nice pinky gold packaging. It was really, really well done. But the actual product itself, I just was not super interested in. I would have liked it to have been something a little bit different. Like, I don't know. I'm just going to go in with burnt orange again on my lower lash line. That's what I was thinking. I was going to call it eyeline, and I was like, that is not the word for it. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of that brown, that Cypress Umber, on like a really kind of thin, stiffer brush here, and just go on like the outer half of my eye. I don't want to bring it in too far because dark colors close off the eye, and I already have pretty small eyes to begin with, so I don't want to close them off all the way by any means. And then I'm going to do a lid shade. I think I'm just going to go with Primavera there. It's that gold shade, and it's just perfect. It's like a perfect lid color. And I really need to invest in getting like a decent lid brush, because 9 times out of 10 I just use my fingers because it gives me the pigmentation that I want quickly, but it's not as precise as using a brush. But I actually don't enjoy buying makeup brushes. Like, for me, it just doesn't do it. I'd rather like save that money and spend it on like more actual product, but you gotta invest in the brushes. You gotta do it, so I need to do that one day. Can't get around it. So I'm just gonna curl my almost non-existent lashes here. I had eyelash extensions. I had them kind of like twice. I had them, geez, probably like 4 years ago or so, for over a year, probably a year and a half, and then had them off for a while, and then probably almost a year ago now, I had them for probably a year again, and then I stopped getting them, and they really, really affect your eyelashes for a long time afterwards. Like, I stopped wearing them, I think it was September or October, and I still can see the damage from them. Like, my lashes are really sparse, they're like shorter, and they're just so straight. I mean, I've always had straight lashes, but straight short lashes, but like they're even shorter and straighter than before, and it takes a really long time to get them to come back. So, I mean, I loved having lash extensions, because even when you just like were not wearing any makeup, no lashes, nothing, you still had this beautiful look to your eye. But they do a lot of damage, and the upkeep on them is a lot, especially if you're like me and you wear a lot of makeup day to day. So I've got a lot to remove, so obviously messing around with them and eye makeup remover and stuff like that is going to cause them to come off more quickly than somebody who just never wears makeup and barely has to touch them. And then I'm just going to take my lash glue and try to put these lashes on. I don't think I can do that on camera. I just can barely. I can like barely put lashes on to begin with, let alone on camera. So lash extensions definitely are like, there's definitely pros to it, and there's definitely cons. They also can be really expensive. I'm still shocked to see like what a lot of salons charge for them. My advice is to go to somebody who does them out of their house, because they just charge less. You'll see a lot of places to get them filled is like $50, $60, $70. Like, even $50 I guess isn't bad. I don't usually see that low, but it's like $60, $70, and then the initial application is like $200, $150, $200 plus dollars. Like, it's insane. But if you go to somebody who does them out of their house, like the 2 different girls that I used to go to, I think she charged $65 or something for the initial application, and then fills were just $40. Which makes it like something that's doable. I can't afford to spend, like, I I can't justify spending like $100 a month or something on like a lash fill, but 40 is not bad. I don't really do much to my hair. It's not like I'm in the salon all the time getting my hair dyed or cut. Like when I go and get my hair cut, I wait as long as I humanly possibly can to get my hair cut, because whenever I go in I just want it trimmed, and I don't like spending like $50, $60 to get my hair cut just to get it trimmed, and then I go to like the cheapest place I can humanly find, which probably is not a good strategy, but I don't know. That's me. Some things I'm just like so cheap, and then some things I will spend just like way too much money on. And I'm just using the gold shade from that Tom Ford highlighting duo to highlight with. It's really pretty. It gives you like a really wet finish to your face, which I always like. Oh my god, my hair looks crazy. Okay, I'm just gonna put my lashes on and I'll be right back. So I've got my lashes on now. These are just little like Ardell cheapies from the drugstore. They're almost like at the end of their like lash life at this point, but I think I can get like 1 or 2 more wears out of them. And I literally can't do it on camera. When I put lashes on, like my nose is almost touching the mirror. I have to get so close. I find it so funny when like YouTubers are filming and they just like take the lash, put the glue on, and then they just like place it and pop. There we go, my lashes are on, and I struggle every day to get lashes on. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it's hilarious. It's like every day I gotta like psych myself up. Be like, you can do this, you can do this. I'm just gonna put some mascara on the old bottom lashes, even though those are kind of almost, you know, non-existent as well, but what can you do? What can you do? And then I'm just gonna put a little bit, and then I'm gonna do my lip color. I'm gonna wear one of the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea lipsticks. This is in Siesta, and it's just a really easy, neutral, everyday color. And I'm going to work. And I already kind of look extra enough. I work as a nurse, and I'm sure every day people look at me and they're like, Jesus, she went to a nightclub after this or what? But that's what I like, so do what you like. And then I've been really enjoying using these Urban Decay heavy metal glitter eyeliners. I wear them on like the inner third or so of my lower lash line. This one's in Midnight Cowboy, and it just gives you a little bit of extra sparkle. And who doesn't like that? Okay, I'm just going to use the Kat Von D Lock It Makeup Setting Mist. And I'm really playing a dangerous game here because my lower lash mascara is probably not totally dry. So I really took the risk of it like just going all over my lower lash line and me going crazy, but I think it worked out. I don't see it. And then as soon as I spray it on, I used to have a towel in this room that I literally just used to fan myself with, but your hands work pretty good as well. And I just kind of fan my face, and I think that's how you get the best result from those makeup setting sprays. If you find you're getting drips or it's just not like setting very well, make sure that you're fanning your face after you spray it. Oh, it's right in my mouth. Alright, so that is the finished look, you guys. I hope you enjoy this, and I'll be doing more tutorials and get ready with me's and stuff like that in the future. I hope you have a good day. Bye!